afternoon, good evening, good morning to you, whoever you are, wherever you are. Thanks for joining us. This is Robbo Land's Viz. That was a twitch. Whoa! We'll keep those to a minimum. How the devil are you? It's 6:06 in the evening here. It's 6:08 actually, but that clock is 2 minutes slow in case I have to run for a train. Train. Oh dear, train on a bank holiday, eh? It's like saying we'll have sunshine on a bank holiday. Bank holidays are what we have over in the UK, you know, public holidays, and it's traditionally vile weather no matter what time of the year. And today was no exception. It's just been grey and drizzly and vile all day. I went to the shops earlier. Well, I didn't go to the shops. I put some shoes on, opened the door, stuck my head out the window and thought, actually, I don't really need anything, do I? Better off starving than going out in this bloody weather. So, anyway, came back inside and then received an email from my buddy Blaise. Some of you may know that me and Blaise have been working on an album for the last several years. And today, April the 2nd, 2018, it's gone live. It's there. It's out there in the big wide world, or narrow world, depending on, you know, if you've got your phone up that way or this way or whatever, you know. Quite narrow here. Beer of the day. There is no beer of the day. I'm off the beer for like 3 months, all alcohol for 3 months at the moment, so medication and all that sort of stuff. I did have a beer the other day. Half a pint into it, it almost sent me into a coma. So I thought it was probably best idea just to leave the beers in the fridge, so I've got a fridge with about 7 beers in it, and every time I open it, it goes, go, Robbo, have a drink. I'm going, no, away with thee, like that, you see. So I'm on the ginger beer, mixed with some elderflower presse. 0.0%. 0.0%. But that's not important, it's quite nice. So my brain's been going completely commando, as it were. I've taken the underpants off my head and just let it do its thing. And I'm not sure if it's the illness or reality that I don't like, but either way, they don't like it up 'em. Anyway, the album, the Blaising Chaos album called All We Do Is Smile. I don't know how to look at it. We've been working on it for years. It's finally up on Bandcamp, and it would be great if you fancied going and having a listen, and if you enjoy it, maybe throw a few shekels at it and pick up your own copy. We got a limited amount of CDs. Actual, you know, CDs, remember those round shiny things that you put in the garden once you've listened to them in order to scare cats away, those things. And it's on digital download as well there, but just go and have a listen, see if you like it, if that's your thing. It's been really good fun making the album. Blaise is my best buddy from years and years and years back. We knew each other back when we were teenagers, and he actually taught me the guitar chord of A minor one day when he was off to an exam and I was staying around his folks' house, and he had this old satellite Les Paul and this massive great orange cab, and he was playing House of the Rising Sun, and I went, what is that called? And he said, it's an A minor. How do you do that? And he showed me, and for the next like 24 songs I wrote, they all had an A minor in it because I thought it was the best thing in the world. So cheers Blaise for that. Oh. And over the years we made like 5 or 6 albums, all on pretty much on with the old Tascam Porter studios. We used a cassette tape. For those that you don't know what a cassette tape is, it's a little thing about that sort of size. And big hands, small phone, and it was magnetic tape, and by the power of magic you could actually overdub until it all got so hissy it just sounded like... For this album we went digital, and it was basically we can do whatever we want because we have the power and the facilities to basically create any sounds we want. There are tubas on one track, but it's quite close to the end of the album, but I had to put a tuba because, you know, that's a trombone, but that sort of thing, you know. Give me a tuba synthesizer and I'm going to use the damn thing. What can you expect with this album? It's an album of songs is probably the best way I can describe it. Blaise was coming to me with loads of songs he was writing, and each one sort of suggested its own style and its own way of being treated, and so we've ended up with quite an eclectic mix, I think. If I just run through the songs on here, Beach in Spain, the opening number, is a huge, great banging sort of dance number with a borderline offensive guitar. It's you know, it's all about how the Brits spend their holidays abroad, which is basically get there, drink as much as you can until it's time to go home. And so hopefully the production has sort of reflected that. I Orange, the second one, is sort of suggested a sort of 80s pop feel. Because I'm not really a big fan of the 80s, I came up with a couple of reference tracks, and one of them was Fashion by David Bowie, which was actually 1979. One was Kraftwerk the Model, which I think again was sometime in the 70s, and one was Darshan, I think, by David Sylvian and Robert Fripp, which I think was probably in the 1990s. So we did an 80s sort of, not a pastiche, but an 80s influence thing without being influenced by anything from the 80s, so I'm quite proud of that. We then go on to Choking It Mate, which is sort of a jangly pop sort of thing. Better by Night, which is a huge prog, dirgy epic that suddenly dark and and it's suddenly through, halfway through, it just goes, ooh, that's lovely, and light and acoustic, and with a big, massive, over-the-top Gilmore-y style. If Gilmore had been on a beach in Spain, that sort of guitar solo at the end, so that was good fun to do. We then go to Now That I Am Two, which is a really sort of slow, melancholy ballad. Nice little tune. Blaise does some great vocals on that. Tattooed Behind after that, which is sort of, I guess, like a any of you that know the Fairport Convention, folk rock band from the UK. It's sort of, I guess, it's sort of that sort of style of thing. And back when me and Blaise first got together and started playing, Fairport Convention were the band that we were just listening to all the time. You know, we went to see them every year at the annual reunions, and that whole folk rock thing was what we really started doing. Folk, blues, rock, that sort of stuff, and so that's sort of a nod to our sort of past. Worldwide Suicide is that was the first one that we recorded for this album. It basically didn't fit on the cassette for the last album we did, which was sometime in the mid 1990s, and Blaise had always wanted to record it, and he sent me an email one day and said, Rob, would it be alright just to record a version of Worldwide Suicide? I thought, oh yeah, I remember that track. And he was thinking maybe an acoustic guitar and a bass guitar and a vocal. And I came back to him and said, look, I want an orchestra on that, I want a big bombastic orchestra. And that was when he said, can we do that? And I said, we can do whatever we like, mate, we have the power. So imagine in the 70s you'd get someone, you know, some rock star, and they'd do, you know, their acoustic set with the London Philharmonic, you know, live at the Rainbow Theatre or something, and that's our sort of nod to that sort of thing. Don't You Be Lonely after that, another very, very melancholic sort of ballad with a very odd twist on the production. For some unexplained reason, it has bongos and sort of Hawaiian style guitar on it. I'm not quite sure if we'd done that again, whether we would have chosen the same approach to it, but I'm glad we did. It's got its own sort of style and its own feel, and generally when we're listening to it, you find that both people are just sitting there just nodding gently backwards and forwards into their Ovaltine. It's a very, very sweet little song. After that we have The Story, which is a sort of again, I suppose it's like your old sort of folk protest song. There was a thing over here, the Levinson Inquiry, which was all about how the big national newspapers were using very, very underhand techniques to get stories, like phone tapping and rattling through people's bins and pretending to be things they weren't. And the upshot of the inquiry, which cost probably billions of pounds, was that the newspapers now have to regulate themselves and not be naughty. Fantastic, that'll work. After that, we've got Dancing on His Grave, which is sort of a nod to the sort of Carry On films, I guess, of Britain. It's a sort of comedy gothic tale, and again, it's sort of a jangly sort of thing with a West Coast America sort of style groove to it, and West Coast America style sort of guitar playing, I guess, that sort of thing. And at the end of it, we have It's a Shame, which Blaise masterfully created all the lyrics out of political sound bites from the 70s through to current day, and we did it in a huge, great, thrashy punk style. Because we can, and because that song just needed to be done that way. So that's what you've got to expect. So trying to categorise it as a genre, as I say, it's an album full of songs. We had a real blast making it, and it was some real challenging stuff. And thanks to a load of you on YouTube who had offered tips on production and all sorts of other things. I remember Richard Kurbis putting a video up about cutting frequencies out. When you're EQing stuff, the tendency is always to more treble, more bass, more mid. And it's this thing about cutting frequencies out in order to give everything space to breathe. And that was something we never really considered, because louder is better, isn't it? Also thanks to Pete. You know who you are, Pete, and because he recommended the Ferric TD-S, I think it was, software, VST, which we then put on the master channel of every single song on here, and it just basically sounds like you've thrown 300 quid at someone who really knows what they're doing. So that was really awesome. And the whole mastering stage we did here, we recorded the whole thing here at Disgracelands on some very, very inexpensive kit. Hopefully it doesn't sound that inexpensive, because we put a lot of sweat into it. And now I have a lot of sweaty inexpensive kit. And for all you tone wood enthusiasts, the electric guitars used were basically a PV Raptor that I paid about 60 quid for, a vintage Metal Axe Razor that I've paid about 40 quid for, and an Epiphone Les Paul that I didn't pay anything for because I got free with a whole bundle of stuff. We used a couple of Ovations. We used my orange Ovation, and we used Blaise's black Ovation for all the rhythm guitars, and the Danelectro Longhorn bass on most of it. And as I say, we just carried on until we were finished. We're very happy with it. I hope you'll enjoy it, and the link to go and check it out will be underneath the video in the description. Oh, it feels good to finally have it out. That's what she said, you know. But I tell you, this non-drinking thing, this could catch on, you know. Not here, obviously, but somewhere. And with that, thank you also to Michelle and to Roy and to my brother and to Claire and to Harry for all their support and tolerance and input all the way through. It's been really hugely appreciated. And thank you for listening to this video, watching this video, and I hope you go and check it out. And if you really enjoy it, pick yourself up a copy. If you don't worry about it, you know. We did it because we love it. We enjoyed working on it, and that's it. We don't expect to become rich because, you know, we're trying to sell music to people, and this is the internet. No one pays for nothing. All right, take good care, good people. I'm going to go and enjoy this filthy weather outside here, which is absolutely truly disgusting, and as it should be because it's a bank holiday. And I might even play a guitar on the next one. Who knows? I'll see you soon. Take care.